They never saw, but I saw how you saved me. You were the one from the start. When I was young and life was lonely, I traveled.
Đi cái tour là hay hơn đi đường con cá. Nó phân hơn.
I begged for time, but time came slowly. I battled deep, more than you know. You were the one
Không nói bố mình nói không có tao bàn mày làm
with
my
heart. They'll never know, but I know how you saved me. You were the one from the start. When I was young and life was lonely, I traveled each unlucky road. I begged for time, but time came slowly. I battled deep, more than you know. And I never knew what I felt inside, so blind to the breaks and the fall like shadows. Slow revelry of the party marches on, from the brave to the dark. When I was young and life was lonely, I traveled each unlucky road. I begged for time, but time came slowly. I battled deep, more than you know. I battled deep, more than you know.
Hai bốn sáu tám 12 con cho anh nhiều không? Now that the other ones have left, he's a little disappointed. They stopped howling.
I think that people don't accidentally walk in there.
Yeah, no.
Where are those other dogs going?
They're out for a ride or a run.
Where
Hai cái con chó đi đầu ấy là được huấn luyện đặc biệt. Hai chó đi đầu là chó leader đấy. Vừa hỏi anh này chỉ một con chó này nó sống được 13 năm mà nó được huấn luyện từ lúc 9 tháng. Đấy, hỏi thăm kỹ như vậy. Một chuyến đi là 15-16 con.
Đó đúng là
Mẹ 16 con, một chuyến đi.
Một con hai con sao
Mới sống được 13 năm. Nó sống được mà nó dậy từ lúc 9 tuổi, từ 9 tháng. Mà nó sống như vậy đấy, mùa đông mùa hè chỉ nằm ở ngoài này hết. Tuyết tiếc nằm này hết, không có điều hết à. Đấy mỗi một nhà cái một người như vậy. Vậy khổ vậy đấy.
chứ tuyết mà nhiều
Tuyết
phủ hết
ta coi phim ta biết, coi cine biết.
mà tuyết nhiều có phủ hết cả cái nhà này.
Nó vậy thôi, người ta thích cái nó tuyết xuống rồi nó
lạnh lẽo
thì nó cứ nằm ở trong đó vậy thôi. Thì ví dụ như tuyết xuống nó bay vào thì sau đó người ta lại lấy ra, mà nó không chết, nó khỏe, nó chịu lạnh như vậy. Mà trên cái
How it works is you basically stretch each and every limb out. And so you just put the dog through its range of motion on its legs. And if there's a problem, they'll pull away from you. So you'll know right away if there's some sort of muscular injury going on. Like right now, when I put his leg like this, he's stiff. And so what that tells me is there's something going right in this muscle group here. Now, because he's old, I know it's age. But if a sled dog were to do that to me, typically what I would do is massage out that muscle group. And so you do quite a lot of therapy on these guys as you go along. And if that doesn't work, we also have these cute little deals. And basically, these go over the shoulders, and you put hand warmers in these little pockets here. And that wraps just around the dog to keep those shoulder muscles warm. And so you're really warming up the muscle to help loosen up any tightness in there. And so there you go.
During the rest time or during the run also?
This is during the rest time, pretty much. And so after you've done all that on all 16 dogs, then you feed all your dogs, then you get something to eat yourself, then you sleep for about an hour, then you get up and feed all your dogs, or you fix a meal to feed on the trail. And then as soon as you pull the booties out after they've rested a few hours, they know they're getting ready to go. So you have to kind of be sneaky about it, because then they'll start lunging and pulling as soon as you get maybe 10 dogs bootied. And if you still have 6 to go, you know, they may pull the sled away from you before you want them to. And that, the first night of Iditerod, they do that to me every single time. So I'll have like 4 dogs left to booty, and the back dogs are like, all right, we're going.
You're so they sleep tied up. They sleep in line.
Yeah, pretty much they're connected by their neck, by a line from the neck to the main line, and you undo the back line just so they can be a little bit more comfortable. And a lot of times what we do is we've actually got a shock bungee in their neckline, so they have flexibility in where they're going, if that makes sense.
It's the rear line is actually dealing with load bearing.
Yeah,
the neck
exactly.
is just steering.
Yeah, that just helps keep everyone in alignment. And it used to be that you could turn your dogs loose on Iditerod, and last year, you know, during a race, I was in a checkpoint, and I wanted to just walk my dogs during an extended break. And I can let all of my dogs loose at once, and so I had 10 dogs with me, and I was walking around this village, and I got told you couldn't do that anymore. And the reason is the year before, a guy named Martin Boozer, who's won it 4 times, turned his whole team loose, and all these males got into all the females of a different team. And several Iditerod puppies later, they made a rule against that. So that's kind of a long answer to your question.
So they'll stay calm down, resting while you're feeding.
Yep.
They don't go ballistic like house dogs do.
Well,
When the food comes out.
yes and no. It depends on the dog. These guys they know us so well, they get into such a routine that they typically just know this is how it's going to be. And so they're fairly patient with you on everything you're doing. But they read your body language, and because I'm a pretty mellow, calm guy, my dogs tend to stay pretty steadfast. If I get excited, they get excited. If I'm upset, also my dogs are upset. And so it's a funny thing that way. You've really got to, after over 10 days where you've only slept 2 hours a day, you really have to have your emotional state of mind in check. Because there's times that, you don't believe me, there's times you want to kill your dogs. For example, I had a dog, Charlie, on last year's race, and this is his first Iditerod. So he had a lot of anxiety. And the first checkpoint we came to, he chewed his harness to pieces in seconds. And I was like, oh, okay. So get to the next checkpoint, new harness. Chewed that to pieces. Fantastic.
He's chewing as he's running?
As soon as we come into a checkpoint, he'd chew his harness to pieces.
That's when he's like, oh, he's sick.
Yeah. Well, 6 harnesses later, I was ready to just kill Charlie on the spot. But you can really demoralize your team if you're upset with them, and you don't want to do that. But I was so angry and so upset that he chewed his harnesses. So I came up to him, and I was kind of giving him an ear scratch like this, and I was like, Charlie, if you do that again, I'm going to kill you. You'll be a dead dog. And sure enough, we got to the next checkpoint, he chewed his harness. And the vets came over and I said, he's gone, just take him. And they're like, what's wrong with him? And I said, oh, he's just being a big jerk. And so they send him home, and when my wife got the paperwork on why he'd been sent home, it says, dog is a jerk.
Do you normally have 6 extra harnesses with you?
I do. You carry harnesses all along. You carry a lot of spare parts all the way along. But I had sewn a couple of harnesses back together. So that's when you're part-time seamstress.
When you're supposed to be sleeping, you're sewing harnesses.
I was sewing a harness together. But at any rate, so that's kind of that stuff. Then you also carry with you, obviously, stuff to keep yourself warm. Because it can get as cold as -60 out there. And -60 is brutal. But basically, we wear coats like this. And how it works is, when you have your hood up, this little bit of fur is actually the most important piece of this coat. And the reason being is your breath gets trapped in front of your face, and so it creates a little warm pocket of air. And that ends up keeping your head and your neck that much warmer, and subsequently your whole core stays that much warmer. And so when you see in those Arctic movies, they've got fur ruffs, there's actually a reason for it. And the other thing it does is it blocks the wind from going across your face. So that's really one of the #1 things we use. So I'll tell you, at -60, this was my first Iditerod. I had my hood down, and I was adjusting my hat. And you can actually see just the tip of my ear was exposed for about 5 seconds. And in that time, it froze solid. It just went like this. And you can actually see I'm missing that tip of my ear, because it fell off a few days later.
5 seconds?
Yeah. That's how fast things can go south on you out there. So you've to be prepared for everything. Subsequently, you get really good at layering and being able to take care of things. Because this last year's Iditerod was actually, do you guys care about trail stories? Do you want to hear a few of those?
Sure.
Mhm.
Well, last year's Iditerod, it was actually about 30 above. And at 30 above, a lot of that water on the rivers, or a lot of the ice melts off. The water gets shoved up in between the ice cracks. Well, there's a section of trail as you're heading out towards Iditerod that you have to cross over several rivers. And one of the rivers is from about the stage to the wall wide. And ordinarily it's frozen solid, so you're just shooting straight across it on the ice. This year, we went across the first small river. There's about that much water on top of it. Dogs sailed right through it. We got to the second wider river, all of a sudden the dogs came to a screaming halt. And dogs who don't want to go somewhere, you cannot force them to go. Because I got in about knee deep, because I'm watching this current go by. I'm trying to drag the dogs across, drag the dogs, and they wouldn't go. So I ended up unhooking 2 dogs at a time and walking across this waist-deep river and taking them across that way, and then I'd walk back, get 2 more, walk back, get 2 more, and do this over and over again. At one point, when I was finally able to pull my sled across, I was dragging it across the river, I was watching the current kind of carry it downstream, and I was thinking to myself, man, this sucks. Because this is like 2 o'clock in the morning that I was doing all this. And, you know, we got to the other side, dogs rolled around in the snow, and on you go. So you can have experiences where you're doing minus 60 to 35 above. It's something.